I don't want to go too far. I want to see the sun. I'm at work. I have to drive around. There's nobody really here because it's, what time is it? It's 6:45. Well, there. You can see the reflecting layers that they've been putting on all day. But I didn't really want to talk about the sun. I'll just leave it on the sun. I want to talk about New York. And there was an incident that happened where 2 convicts escaped Dannemora prison in the Adirondacks. And I didn't really pay attention to it. I just thought, wow, that's awful. It's terrible. Then I started hearing things like my husband said, because I don't really listen to the regular news. He said they talked about the size of the one guy's penis. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. And my brother-in-law said the same thing. And then they talked about the other guy hacking a penis off. I'm like, the size of one guy's and the other guy is hacking something off. Well, I started to question the whole incident because something came from Cop Block. I'm not sure if that's and they interviewed the principal or the superintendent of Saranac School. And I don't live far from Saranac, so, and I'm from the Adirondacks part of the time. We lived up there in old firehouse was built in the horse and buggy age. Well, anyways, let's get this all going here. I'm talking too slow. Well, we stayed there in the summer. It was a little cabin shack type thing, and it never turned out to be much more than that, but it was a great place to live and grow up in the summertime. My parents were not rich, but they had the smarts to figure out how to get a second place. Well, they didn't really have a first place because the house belonged to my grandmother. And we lived in the inner city, and it was crowded. So that's where we stayed, up in the Adirondacks. Now I called the school, and I said something is very odd about this whole entire incident. And they called me back, and I said, you know, before you lock down a school, you should investigate the story behind it. I said, because there's a lot of strange stuff going on. The story doesn't make sense. And the cops have an analogy. It looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It is a duck. Well, if it looks fishy, it acts fishy. It is fishy. If it looks like it's fake, it seems fake. It is fake. It's a fake story. Well, then I start looking at these 2 guys. One's last name is Matt, M-A-T-T. And there's a picture shows up him about in the 80s with a cop with a uniform on, and it certainly fits him very well. And it's got the New York State corrections thing, and he's holding a sign. And you got to look this thing up. I'll try to post a link to it, but the story has a smell a mile long. I don't know what they did or why they did it, but it has inspired me to write a letter. And I'm going to write a long letter to New York State, and then I'm going to send it to who I think it concerns. Now, all this stuff, they locked that whole town down. They were military style. Now, if you think that New World Order crap is not real, well, they just pulled it here in New York, right under our noses, and then this is how crazy this story is. Supposedly she's works in the sewing department. Yeah, right, they just have a sewing department. And she helped them out, giving them hammers and all this stuff, nail screwdrivers, whatever. She gave them a ice pick, or no, I'm only kidding, but I mean, whatever she gave them to help them escape. And now she's under arrest, and they can't keep her at Dannemora or around that area, in Saranac area, which is odd, extremely odd, because they don't do that until later, if the person is under a threat. Now, they don't move them to another town, but she supposedly was moved to Rensselaer, New York, which is even closer to me. I wonder if we're allowed to go and see her. I should take a ride and see if the jail, if you can go visit. Let's see. The school. The school just got off a lockdown. Now, they didn't catch these two supposed escaped convict killer murderers. And, gee, how can it be any safer now than before? It makes no sense to lock down a school and have cops and military all in the school. These guys are going to sneak in the school so that they can get shot, and all these little kids are around. The story has to make sense. If the cops were smart and the military was smart and it was a real thing, they should surround all the schools and leave a perimeter, work their way from the school back, make sure the area is secure. Gee, even I know that military tactic. And then surround the school. If that's what they're so afraid that the school is going to get attacked. Now, now they just up and leave it. They played their military maneuvers. They played their games. Everybody complied. And they're off. They're done. Over, said, done. Now, it sounds kind of Jade Helmish, whatever that, but it's so rotten. They're rotten human beings that are all participating, because the woman I spoke to at the school is like dumbfounded that she got a call saying, you know, maybe you guys should investigate these things yourself before you allow these people into your schools. It's not good for the children to have military. It's called normalization, I told her. Getting the kids used to being under police surveillance constantly. It's disgusting. It's despicable. This is not the future I envision, and it's gonna stop. Now that sun is kind of eerie tonight. Have a good night.